Hi, my name's Joe. I'm a fat black belt, as you can see from the title of the channel. I am, in fact, a first dan black belt in Taekwondo. I'm also a blue belt in Haedang Gumdo, which is a Korean sword style, and I am a big guy. As of today, I weighed in this morning at 328 pounds. Now, like any other big guy, I got a lot of bone, I got a lot of leg muscle. But that isn't why I'm 328 pounds. Generally speaking, pizza and ice cream are why I'm 328 pounds. So, this is something you don't see very much on YouTube anymore. This is a fitness and weight loss journey vlog. There's a guy named Sal, like My 700-Pound Life. He's doing it really well. That was a little bit of an inspiration for this. The other one is just that I have tried, tracking my food via microblogging and stuff like that, and there's just no real place to put it. So what I want to do here is I want to talk to you guys, whoever you are, about what I'm eating, what kind of training I'm doing, and how the journey is going. This is bigger than I was when... This is not the dobak I train in, by the way. This is my favorite dobak because it's got all my cool patches on it, but this isn't the one I usually train in. This is just the one I like recording in. When I got my black belt, I was about 305 pounds, sometimes 298, depending. So I am up about 30 pounds since then. When I first started my sort of fitness journey several years ago, before I got back into martial arts, I did martial arts my whole childhood. Sort of restarted a few years ago. When I first got back into training, I was about 365 pounds. So this is almost halfway back there, which I'm not okay with. So this is where I am drawing a line in the sand. So let's talk about what training and fitness looks like. Obviously, I don't have any... yesterday I trained about 2-ish hours, 2.5 hours of mostly forms and some teaching. That was exhausting. It is real hot outside. So there was a lot of sweating everything off. Food yesterday was very good. It was, I had a sirloin steak. I had double broccoli, that kind of thing. Fine meal. I had a hot dog late at night because the sirloin steak was the only thing I ate. What I would like to do moving forward is do some meal prep, do some sort of regular portioning. I am not super good at eating tons of meals a day, but I would like to get myself to at least 3 reliable meals a day that are reasonably sized. I used to do OMAD. I have no problem with that kind of stuff. The 1 meal a day, that's great if that works for you. Didn't work for me mentally. Worked great for me physically. So I'm gonna have to do something in the middle. So no classes today. There's actually a sword class I could go to, but I only attend 1 sword class a week, and given that this week is a holiday, blah, blah, I'm going on Wednesday. So what I'm going to do today is go over my sword curriculum. I also took a very long impromptu walk. I had to drop my car off at the dealership, not the dealership, I had to drop my car off at an auto mechanic in town here that I really like, Brakes and Rotors. And I was waiting for my wife to pick me up, and I thought, I'll just walk. Fine, I need the exercise. So I walked probably about 2 miles back to a Kroger that is somewhere in the midpoint between there and here, and I just wanted to see how far I could get before she was able to pick me up, and that's how far it was. Food so far today has been pretty good. I made myself basically an egg sandwich this morning. I just, toasted it up, kind of low fat on that one. Usually I would do something like an egg, a slice of cheese, some toast, whatever. I did an egg, a little bit of leftover steak for some added protein, and I threw on, instead of like cheese or whatever, I threw on this low-fat BLT sauce that the guy over at Exercise for Cheat Meals has a recipe for, and it's pretty good sauce. So that held my sandwich together, and it was very nice. That is all I've had. While I was waiting to hear back on the car, I walked over to a Sonic. I got a Coke Zero, and I thought, man, look at all this good stuff here. I kind of want some garbage ice cream crap, and I didn't get it, so that's been helpful. I'm a big ice cream guy, so that was sort of a moment for me. I have a Ninja Creamy, and so I try to do like protein ice cream more often than not, and in the summer, it is very hard for me not to go out and eat a bunch of, ice cream desserts. There's tons of great places around here. So I also keep some of those like Yasso bars in the freezer because those are like 80 or 100 calories. Perfect amount of dessert. So I've got one more meal left today. No idea what that is. There's some leftover steak from last week in the fridge. It's not that great, but it'll do. It's protein. Maybe I could cube it up into something. My goal as far as food goes is basically exactly the same thing I tell everybody else, right? Focus on protein, focus on veggies, fill in carbs as needed. But I think for me, focusing mostly on lean protein has been really helpful. You get a lot of people on the internet talking to you about how much protein you're supposed to eat, whatever. For me, I understand that a lot of the time I eat more protein than I need, but it also helps keep me full, so I'm not eating other crap, so I'm not going to complain about it. This is my setup for now. I don't anticipate moving. I may go downstairs, do some martial arts stuff. I may do some sort of cooking or food or whatever. And I know that the internet hates this, but you may occasionally have to put up with my cat. Right now he's sleeping in the window, but he likes this perch as well. So that's all. This is the first one, and I hope to keep these up. And I'm basically just going to talk about, what the training was like, everything I ate, keep myself honest. That's the goal. All right. Hopefully, we'll see you next time. Hopefully, there's a next time.